Welcome to the Duck Pyramid, where I rate my pet ducks from worst to best based on their behavior last week. And at the bottom of our pyramid this week, we have Sugar. Sugar decided to be a Grinch on Christmas, and by that I mean she flipped over, which of course leads me to be very worried about her. And I was going out to Christmas dinner with my boyfriend's family, and obviously I don't want to be on my phone the whole time, but I had to watch the cameras constantly to make sure that Sugar was okay, and I was like, I hope Sugar doesn't flip over again, because then I'm gonna have to leave and go flip her back up, and I don't want to do that, and I feel bad, and I don't want to be on my phone in those situations, but like I was worried about her. And honestly, normally I feel really bad for Sugar when she flips over, but I have been keeping such a close eye on the duck cams lately that I've noticed Sugar kind of does this to herself. Now, again, we don't have any actual footage of what happens when Sugar flips over. However, Sugar is the smallest duck. She does not stand a chance in a fight against any of them. But you know what she constantly does? They'll just be minding their own business, and she just walks over and pecks them because she's a Grinch. So I'm like, can I really feel bad for her? And it's like, I do. When I find Sugar flipped over, I feel terrible for her. But right now, Sugar's a Grinch, and that's why she's on the bottom. Moving on though, we have Chip. Now Chip is on the bottom of the pyramid this week because I came home late one day and I actually saw him. And you guys know I normally don't see Chip because he's nocturnal, but I came home late enough that I saw him. So I scooped him up, I brought him downstairs, and I held him out to show my friend. I was like, look, Chip. He didn't move, and she thought he died, and that was my way of telling her that he died. So maybe next time, Chip, you could like look a little more alive. And next up we have Donut. Now I do have to admit, if I were on this pyramid, I would be on the bottom row too, because it was my fault that the duck pool broke, because I decided that I would try to clean it before we got that really cold snap of weather, and I was like, let me just break the ice out and clean it, fill it back up so the pool will be nice and clean when the ice finally does melt after the cold snap. Well, that was a bad idea because I ripped a giant hole in the pool and then they had no pool. Anyways, fast forward to yesterday, I got them a new pool, a cement mixing tub, which is so fun for them and they love it, and I can't break it on the ice. But you know what Donut does? Donut doesn't swim in the pool. Donut swims in a water bucket. Still. And then she poops in it. So sometimes I wonder, why do I even try to make their lives better when they're just ungrateful? And lastly on this row, we have Raven. Raven has not wanted to participate in absolutely anything this last week. She doesn't want to go outside because it's cold, so I can't really blame her, but they're a flock, they gotta stick together. She also did not want to participate in any videos or photos or absolutely anything at all. She just wanted to be left alone. Maybe she's a Grinch too. I don't know. And moving on to our next tier, we have Avocado Toast. Avocado Toast is a really good duck most of the time, but she has not been listening too well the past week. Just kind of been all over the place and definitely avoiding bedtime. And I can understand that the ducks kind of have cabin fever, but like, you can't stay out at night in the dark, especially when it's like 0 degrees out. Like, you can't. You gotta go to bed, And next we have Bubbles. And unfortunately, Bubbles is just a neutral duck again this week. Bubbles is neutral a lot of the time, and she's kind of good at separating, the bad ducks from the good ducks, but that's all I got for Bubbles. And next, we have Hash Brown Montana. I am very proud of Hash Brown Montana this week because she has been so independent, and normally Hash Brown and Avocado Toast are doing everything together. If one of them does something bad, they both do something bad. If one of them does something good, they both do something good. And it's really hard to determine where to put them on the pyramid because I feel like they're usually next to each other because they're always doing the same things. But Hash Brown was really independent this week, and when Toast was kind of being a little bit bad, she was still being a good duck, so I'm really proud of her. And leveling up, we have Mr. Whip. Mr. Whip helped me film a video about oils on ducks and Dawn dish soap and how to clean a duck, basically. And he did a really good job, and the video did really well, and he looked so handsome, and he had such a fun time swimming, and I was just super proud of him. But also, Mr. Whip does appear to have finally recognized that it is winter and mating season is over, which is good, because the ladies don't want to deal with him anymore, and I don't want to see it. So hopefully he will be good until spring. And next up, we have Munchkin. You may have been expecting her to be on top, and I honestly was too, because Christmas week is always a very big week for Munchkin. She has to film a lot of cameos. I try to film things in advance because I want to have everything ready to go for Christmas and New Year's. So we're doing a lot of filming, but Munchkin's always a champ and she has so much fun. And of course, Munchkin was absolutely excellent at everything she did, and I am very, very grateful for that. But somebody just outshined her this week, so I'm gonna have to give that spot to someone else. Because at the top of our pyramid this week, we had Maple. And to be honest with you, it's not the fact that he did these things this week, because any of these ducks could have done these things. It's just the fact that Maple doesn't usually do these things, and when he does do these things, he's usually not too fond of it. But this past week, he was just like, okay, I'll do whatever you want. So I'm really proud of him. So the first thing was that we needed some reference pictures of Maple for our wedding duck merch, as you can see here. And normally Maple was like, why are you taking my picture? But this past week when I tried to get pictures for this, he was just like, okay, I'll stand, I'll pose. He was very happy to be doing it, and I was like, oh, I'm so proud of you. But more importantly, Mr. Whip has been an absolutely quack-tastic leader the past week in making sure all of the ducks go to bed. So he's typically the last duck to go into bed, so he waits for everyone else to walk up, and then he flies into the coop. But recently, he's actually been leading them all up to the door, and then he waits for everyone to walk in, and then he walks in after them, and I'm like, that is so sweet. And I'm so proud of him, and I feel like he's just like really taking on the role of like the dominant male duck and doing what he's supposed to do, and I'm just proud of him, you know? Good job, Maple. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's Duck Pyramid. If you're interested in duck wedding merch, I'm going to have that link below, as well as our 2023 duck calendars, because the year is coming to an end and you might be in need of a 2023 calendar. I gotcha, and I'll also have those linked below. Thank you guys for watching, and join us here next week for another Duck Pyramid.